2.5 years after he passed, the BBC Africa Eye has questioned everything we thought we knew about the late Prophet TB Joshua. In a 3-part documentary published on January 7, 2023, the late leader of the Synagogue Church of All Nations was exposed for monstrous sexual crimes, physical abuse, diabolism, fake and stage-managed miracles, and attempted murder. So far, no fewer than 30 persons who closely worked with the prophet have come out to give vivid eyewitness accounts. One of them is Ajoke, the alleged daughter the late televangelist had outside wedlock and worked extra hard to hide from the public. While sharing a sad, harrowing story, Ajoke described her late father as a monster, which, after watching the documentary, began to sound like an understatement. While TB Joshua was alive, many Nigerian pastors who have achieved status in Christendom refused to associate with him or his ministry. In their defense, they claimed the synagogue founder was a fraud and a son of the devil. When TB Joshua eventually passed mysteriously on June 5, 2021, many thought these men of God will bury their hatchet, but they again snubbed him like he never existed. At the time, the likes of Femi Fani-Kayode termed this pastor's actions as jealousy. But since the BBC documentary aired, everyone is now asking if this is why Nigerian men of God turned blind eyes to TB Joshua's sudden and sad passing. What does his widow, who now runs the church, have to say about these allegations and expose?
Hello guys, it's T-Code here for African Glitz.
We thank God Almighty for giving you the grace to surmount all life's obstacles in the year 2023. And you have stepped into the new year, the year of a new name. Welcome to the year of a new name.
Like many Nigerian churches, the Synagogue Church of All Nations chose a theme for the new year, and it says that 2024 is the year of a new name. Little did they know that days after, a BBC Africa Eye documentary was going to ridicule the name and reputation of their late founder, Prophet Temitope Balogun Joshua. How ironical. While still alive, the world-famous televangelist claimed his birth was prophesied 100 years before he was born. Like Jesus Christ, TB Joshua claimed that God sent a Messiah every 2,000 years, and he is the Messiah of his time. No one could deny this. The late charismatic pastor established himself as the opera of evangelism. His fame spread wide and far for his supposed rare supernatural powers. He healed the sick, cured cancer, made the crippled walk, and the dumb speak. He delivered people from evil spirits and strange illnesses. He won millions of souls across the globe and was friends with world leaders, presidents, and billionaires. In the same vein, TB Joshua acted like he was in charge of the storehouse in heaven. He gave to the needy, was a husband to widows, and a father to orphans. He was and still is the biggest humanitarian to ever come out of Africa. The only thing he didn't do was walk on water. However, many Nigerian pastors and general overseers, except Pastor Chris Oyakilome, refused to associate with him during his lifetime. All denounced him. They refused to accept his membership in the Christian Association of Nigeria (CAN) and the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. They called the late prophet a fraud, an occult figure, an impostor man of God, and a false prophet. Particularly, Reverend Chris Okotie called him the son of the devil. When asked whether he would ever worship in Prophet Joshua's church, Pastor E.A. Adeboye retorted, "No, not. If he wants me to come and minister in his church, we will sit down and discuss the issue of salvation the way I understand it, according to the scriptures. If we agree on that, and he now wants me to come and preach the same message of salvation in his church, then I will go." Foreigners were not left out. US-based minister Ted Haggard denounced the late televangelist as dangerous to the body of Christ. In 2010, Cameroon's foreign minister Henry Eyebe Ayisi called the late cleric a son of the devil pretending to be a man of God. But all this did not stop Synagogue from being Nigeria's #1 tourist destination. 6 of every 10 foreigners entering Nigeria were headed for the late TB Joshua's church. You couldn't have warned them because they thought he was the Messiah and his church heaven on earth. But 2 years after he passed mysteriously in June of 2021, it was revealed that the late minister had us all fooled with his humility and generosity. On January 7, 2024, BBC published findings from a 2-year investigation. Although the late televangelist died only a few days after eyewitnesses gave their first interview, the posthumous investigation continued and unraveled sexual crimes, forced abortions, physical abuse, staged miracles, attempted murder, and total absolute slavery. More than 25 former disciples and church workers spoke to the BBC from the UK, Nigeria, the US, South Africa, Ghana, Namibia, and Germany, giving corroborating testimony about their experiences within the church, spanning 3 decades up to 2019. The British victims were all between 15 and 21 years old when they joined the church. They all compared their experiences to being zombie-like in a cult, explaining the documentary title Disciples, the Cult of TB Joshua. These victims claimed that they were manipulated, indoctrinated, brainwashed, and physically abused by TB Joshua, forcing them to stay with him for up to 14 years. One eyewitness, Paul Ogomo, said it was the chief organizer of the Synagogue staged miracle. They would send away people with real cancer or severe injuries and let those with minor injuries in for miracles. When their injuries healed, typically spanning over a year, they would make a before and after video to make it seem like an immediate miracle. The so-called miracles where Prophet Joshua healed people with HIV were also deemed fake. Paul confirmed that thousands of people died because they stopped taking their medications and believed they were healed. And the late prophet was very keen on documenting everything on video. In 1996, Paul said prominent pastors visited from South Africa. When they were leaving, the televangelist gave them more than 200 VHS videos to take home to give to people. Videos of miracles, confessions, videos that will fill their head and lead people back to synagogue. White people and Westerners began visiting, and TB Joshua fame shot from there. As another witness identified as Bisola explained, he used white people to market his brand. Having a white man or woman around is like, you have achieved. According to victims in the documentary, the former disciple allegedly wanted to make white people his slaves. As Westerners began to visit, TB Joshua targeted the younger ones since they were easier to manipulate and made them disciples. In their account, these naive young people who were seeking God said he used them like slaves. They were kept and never allowed outside the synagogue. They spent only 4 hours daily, were forced to isolate their families, and used to market the church on TV. They said he often slaps them, beats them with horsewhips, sometimes stark naked to humiliate them and make them fear him. When questioned, the church founder would say it's an honor to be whipped by someone of his godlike status, and it's to make them holy and be like him. They had no lives of their own. They were monitored and had to get permission even to sleep or use the bathroom. Even then, they couldn't leave because their travel documents were all in the care of the late cleric. As time went on, TB Joshua began to abuse them sexually. One confirmed he deflowered her, and others testified to being forced to stop being pregnant. There were also the 5-story brothers who did everything for the late cleric, even to the point of pulling down his pants when he had to use the toilet.
He would remove his underwear to his knee level, then we bring it down. We don't allow him to bend down.
When the likes of Bisola and Paul decided they had had enough and began to tell their stories, they claimed TB hired assassins to end them. The documentary also sheds light on the late televangelist's daughter, Ajoke. The disciples claimed that Ajoke was the child TB Joshua had outside wedlock. Because he viewed her existence as a significant threat to his reputation as a man of God, the late minister subjected Ajoke to a series of torture and humiliation. Speaking her truth, the young lady claimed that she never felt fatherly affection from the late pastor and that her father compelled her to be a disciple to ruin her life. It was very difficult to watch this man preach every Sunday. Topics about love and mercy, they feel very strange coming from his lips. I stared in the mirror many times, so maybe I didn't look like him. Maybe. For as long as I can remember, I had been raised as TB Joshua's daughter. She explained. The televangelist would have her locked up in isolation for months, so much so that even after many years, she doesn't know how she survived those dark days. Ajoke grew inside the synagogue like an outcast. I think he wanted to keep her secret. I don't think he wanted anyone to know who she was. The message about Ajoke was that she had terrible evil spirits that needed to be driven out, a female disciple revealed. One day, Ajoke confronted him for all the abuse against her and the ladies. TB Joshua had locked her up and beaten every day, and after months, he had her thrown out to the streets with nothing. The investigation also scrutinizes the collapse of Synagogue Guest House on September 12, 2024. The collapse claimed the lives of at least 116 people, most of whom were foreigners. The past disciples confirmed it was a structural failure as the foundations were not solid enough to accommodate many stories. One disciple testified that TB Joshua knew the building was shaking, yet he told the engineer to find a way to manage it. All he cared about was the money the guests were paying him, and he would often dance while chanting, "Owode, Owode." When the building collapsed, the disciples claimed Prophet Joshua felt no remorse and was only about documenting the incident. They said he never came out to check the site or the victims, and on the same day, still abused some of his female disciples. Days after, TB Joshua claimed the building was bombed, showing a video of an aircraft hovering around before it collapsed. The televangelist claimed Boko Haram terrorists were after his life, but they failed.
Phone call that there was a jet here at the church, hovering around a building, passing over the building 4 times at a very low rate before the building collapsed. So we are going to show you the video.
Take note of the upper left-hand corner of the screen. A strange aircraft flies over the building at the Synagogue Church of All Nations. 9 minutes later, the strange aircraft returns. This is the moment of the incident.
The prophet later tried to buy the silence of the family of the victims with money. When the mother of a South African victim refused, he sent her a barrage of horrible messages, threatening her and the rest of her family. While all this was going on, some of the eyewitnesses in the interview claimed the late prophet's wife was unaware, and the abuse typically happens when she is not around. TB Joshua also painted her as his antagonist rather than his ally. However, despite all this, the late televangelist widow Evelyn Joshua fought tooth and nail to carry on as his successor, and today, she runs the church as its official leader. When the BBC contacted her with the allegations in this documentary, the response was dismissive. Making unfounded allegations against Prophet TB Joshua is not a new occurrence. None of the allegations was ever sustained. The leadership said, as expected, mixed reactions have trailed these posthumous allegations against the late Nigerian beloved prophet. People who have for years believed him to be a fraud are unsurprised. They say whatever they say TB Joshua did, he did it and more. But others have refused to accept that this is who the prophet was. They claim the BBC is out to destroy the late televangelist's goodwill and reputation, which explains why they are releasing the documentary when he is long gone and unable to defend himself. One such person is former aviation minister Femi Fani-Kayode, a close friend of the late TB Joshua. While reacting to the allegations, he praised the late cleric and said not even the BBC can destroy his legacy. So true. You touched many lives, fought a good fight, stood till the end and established a great and enduring legacy. No man or institution can destroy it with dirty lies, not even the BBC. Continue to rest in peace, brother, and thanks for being such a blessing to the church, the Christian faith, humanity, and our beloved nation, Nigeria. We are and shall always be very proud of you. He wrote. Seun Kuti, the son of the late Fela Anikulapo, has also taken to his Instagram page to mock all victims of the late TB Joshua's antics. In the lengthy video, he said they were TB-jed. The saxophonist claimed his late father also had a cult-like following when alive and did many things, but he was very open about it, hence why controversies have not followed his death.
I just finished watching it. And what I have to say to Nigerians is, if you think that TB Joshua is the only one guilty of all those things they are showing there, if you think your own GO right now as we speak is not engaging, now I have a new word for abusing and raping women. It's called TBJ. And you can use it like this. Omo, that pastor go TBJ that girl. Past tense, she was TBJ'd. No, TBJ. They have to put the TB. You can't just say she was Jade because TB guys did there. Just to fuck all these men. Like, no, that's not make people to the open church. I tell you, listen. That's what I like for last time. This let me advise all these pastors. Let me just advise all of you now. These girls also. No need for you to be hiding behind all this morality, spiritual power, man of God, to take advantage of them. They want to. And if our fella was a priest too, chief priest of the African shrine, with huge cult-like following, that fella gets. But fella was up front. That's why, as fella don't die now, we are not hearing scandal that, oh, fella was girls in the organization. We already know fella was all the girls in the organization, man.
Popular content creator Mr. Bishop has also cursed the late prophet, insisting it was a false prophet through and through. He cited 2 examples of people who sought miracles from the televangelist, including his mom, but died eventually.
Family said this TB Joshua man, son of fake prophet. Nobody they believe in. Say Bishop, they carry the track. They talk too much. I know so many of them to go see insult me normally for the comment section. But to be told, to be told, TB Joshua is a false prophet. I made the talker. When my mother is sick, when I can't go to TB Joshua church, now so they will lodge there for 3 good weeks. The 3 weeks, so steady anointing water now they buy. Hope you say everywhere go good. Now that case called worse. Before we carry the woman go hospital, it's not too late. Why? Kidney problem. Why TB Joshua not deliver her? Not be that one, not be that my mouth self people pay me pass. He get one boy for the worry life, normally they call Simon. When we say belly big, he get belly swell up. They come and go TB Joshua church. Hope you say miracle center everywhere good. Nobody say they show up for TV, eh? Not be the happen for that church show. They get they call behind the scene. Simon reach church now, they give her anointing water normally. He call peace one kind peace for the church. Simon feel say problem don't end. And Simon come back to worry, eh? The beleko 3 times 2. The beleko over big. On a day they support rubbish. I think BBC they talk about TB Joshua so 100% correct. 100% correct. Me like this self, I don't have for Christianity. I want to fall back to my old days. I want to go back to my gods. The gods of my forefathers. Jesus is coming very soon. Jesus is coming very soon. Now pastor don't almost collect our village land finish. They don't buy our village land finish. Jesus is coming very soon. Why pastor see they buy land? Why did they buy land? They more tell us. See I beg all this Christianity who are here may this year because this year so we the best one we not grief for anybody. Even I like man I insult me for the comment section but I'll still turn out the truth.
Very dark man, as expected to react, had this to say.
Yeah, you people don't understand the joy I have in my heart that all these things are coming out about Pastor TB Joshua. I am so happy. Do you understand? See, the truth is that it's not even only Pastor TB Joshua. There are plenty, almost all the pastors in Nigeria. If you hear their secret at the end of the day, you'll be funny. But like I always say, nothing is hidden under the sun. You understand? With all the power where Pastor TB Joshua gets, at the end of the day, he later by and he didn't even see it coming. You don't understand? But that's by the way. You people heard everything. So basically, a lot of the healings were being orchestrated. You understand? They organized it. And there's one part of the interview that I like. That part where that white lady was saying, of course, she has been with TB Joshua for a long time. But she said, TB Joshua will always watch a white man preach. You understand? And do those healing things. You watch the white man do those healing things. He will criticize the white man doing it. But at the end of the day, he now started Synagogue in 2006 and started doing the same thing the white man was doing. Do you know what I learned? It means that people that always criticize what you do, they always want to be you. Do you understand? But that's why I believe all these things. All the while, anytime I watch TB Joshua, I always ask myself a question. I'm like, wait, why is it that this devil, they always call me down for church? And how did they get opportunity to invite the devil? You understand? Devil will be saying, walk now to go to deceive, I do mind. Where will I go catch devil when I carry a control? So when they give a mic, what are you here for? I am here for you. I will scatter the world. They say, no, you will not scatter the world. I will burn you. Shalalaba. Brah. That one go do. No. Brah. No. Brah. No. they will come stand up saying, I don't clear. I knew there was something fishy because these people never went to, you're doing healing. These people never went to the hospitals where there are a lot of sick people, genuine sick people. They never went to the hospitals. People had cancer in the hospital. People were dying of cancer. They never went to the hospital. People had HIV. They never went to the hospital to go and cure them of HIV. They were just doing this in the churches where they invited different people. And in the order to make other people believe, Pastor TB Joshua had to bring in white women. Because you know, of course, the Africans, they have this Oyibo factor. So I say Oyibo did one, yes. So they believed in him then. I have always doubted. I am not surprised by this news at all. I am not surprised by it at all. When I saw it, I was like, good. But the good part is that this is not, those people should not be bothered. Most of your pastors that you see today, that's okay, all of them, they're online, they reign. They are all about this life. They are part of it. Most of them are part of it. Don't be deceived. Do you understand? Don't be deceived. Most of them are part of it. It's all a game. Church is the biggest, let them be the big Yahoo. They cash out clean. You know the amount of water where Pastor TB Joshua sell, the amount of water where people buy, drink, synagogue water where they go sprinkle. Just like this one, we just send alabaster power water. You know the amount of them. Christianity is the only thing that took like, see, Christianity is taking Nigerian economy like this because people would rather walk than, people would rather pray than walk. And this is what the pastors have told them. And the pastors have told them that anything bad that happened to them, it is witchcraft. Do you understand? In your business, so the Christian may change business. Pastor tells you that witchcraft. Do you understand? A lot of things are wrong because of what these pastors are. These pastors have done us more harm than the Nigerian government. Take it from me. So, of course, this interview, people that are doubting whether it's true or false, it's true. I believe everything. Don't play. Religion, Africa, Christianity, don't play.
Also reacting, an ex-user wrote, whatever agenda you have against Christianity will not stand. Have you ever published how he helped people? Why was the investigation not done when he was alive? There are so many things to be investigated. Go get yourself busy and allow the man to rest in peace. One wrote, the same BBC that claimed no certificate forgery during Atiku vs Tinubu tussle, they want to discredit the good work the man has done. If they like, they call him anything they like and let God judge. Personally, I am a Muslim, but don't care. I will forever love the man. Sharing his experience, a ex-user wrote, we once sat in the living room and watched a family friend lose her shit because she saw her brother on Emmanuel TV say he has been blind since birth. One wrote, death does not erase sins and won't stop people from talking about you, whether you were good or bad. This outage about TB Joshua's documentary means nothing to me because I know how defensive many Nigerians are when it comes to their religious leaders. One wrote, all these fake accusations about TB Joshua are just propaganda to pull his church down because other prophets or pastors saw they couldn't compete with him because of his extra supernatural powers. One asked, what if TB Joshua ended himself to escape from all this? When Orisha Femi sang Double Wahala for Dead Body, could this be what he was trying to say? Tell us guys, what do you think about the allegations against the late TB Joshua? Do you agree with the BBC on this one? Could these accusations be the reason Nigerian pastors snubbed TB Joshua alive and dead? Do you think making posthumous allegations is unethical when the accused is not alive to defend their honor? What do you think of the church's response to the allegations? Finally, who do you think will pay for all these atrocities?
Share your opinion in the comment section down below. If you found this video informative, please comment, like and share. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to be notified every time I upload a new video so that you don't miss out. Thanks for watching and see you on our next one.